What's up, my people? Hope everyone is doing well. This video is going to be a bit of back to basics, but it's mainly going to be how to identify the 6 taps the correct way and how to find high quality zones, because you're going to see the zones, you're going to see the 6 taps all over the chart, but we just want to stick to the good ones. How do we do that? I'm about to show you now. So the first thing, probably hear me say this 1,000 times, is always going to go with the trend. So there's only 2 types of zones we can trade: demand zones and supply zones. It's simple. How do I know which ones to focus on? Well, if I see a nice uptrend, which is given to me by seeing higher highs and higher lows, then guess what? I want to buy in these areas of demand. I'm only looking for buys. I'm only looking for areas of demand. If I see my structure is a downtrend, lower high and lower low, what does that tell me? That tells me I could not care less about demand zones, and I'm simply looking for areas of supply in order to take my shorts. In an uptrend, I'm trying to catch this. I'm always in an uptrend, kind of trying to catch the higher low. That will give me the higher high. In a downtrend, I'm always trying to catch the lower high. That will give me the lower low, and that will be in my areas of supply for a downtrend, and that will be in my areas of demand for an uptrend. That's the first step. Well, now, what steps require a good zone from a bad zone? Well, we need these 3 things really. I'm looking for a break of structure, a form of liquidity, and something unmitigated we can tap into. So remember these 3 things. So when I'm looking, for example, from an uptrend, I can see we have high, low, higher high, boom, boom. Now this is something I want to see. And the reason is the first step is a break of structure. Okay, we have this high, we candle closed above this high. That gives me a zone from this high to this low. So if I know if this zone is good or not, it's by checking those 3 steps. We have our first step, we have this bullish break of structure to the upside. The second step is liquidity. Liquidity is the form of price taps into it and continues with the desired trend. You can see price tapped into it and continued with the higher trend. So that becomes our liquidity. So that is step 2 done. And step 3 is something unmitigated we can tap into. That can be the zone in general. You can see this zone is still very unmitigated, still a lot of demand. If this zone is mitigated, it's not as interested to me. And we could have a fair value gap, an SNDR, something, right? Price is not just going to tap in and randomly bounce. Something unmitigated below this SNDR we can tap into and rip to the upside. So when we have something like this, we have a zone here because we have a break of structure. This is not a good zone because underneath it, we have a completely unmitigated zone. If you use this higher zone, this will be a bad zone. Price will stop you out, come into here, and then continue higher. So for an uptrend, our zone, you don't want anything below that we can tap into and rip. Okay, this here is our zone that we can tap into, sweep this first zone, and continue higher, and we'll go to a downtrend. So it's the same thing. The first start is a break of structure. Here you can see, okay, we technically have 2 breaks of structure. This one here and this one here. So that gives us a zone from this low to high and this low to high. So we can now ask ourselves, okay, which one is a good zone? Which one is a bad zone? The overall trend is bearish, so both these zones are valid. But does this one have liquidity in it? Not yet, right? We don't have a tap in that's push priced lower. This one does. You can see we have a tap in that push price lower. And why is this good? Because above this zone here, what do we have? We have a completely unmitigated zone. So I would never use this zone. This would be a bad zone. This would be a good zone. This is where we're going to stop people out, tap into something unmitigated here. It could be an FVG, an SNDR, the zone as a whole, tap in and bounce, okay? Break of structure, boom. Liquidity, boom. Unmitigated, boom. Those are the 3 steps you want. Enough waffling. Let me show you on the charts. So we shall keep it simple. You can see we had a low, any time frame, any chart. It's the same, high, lower low, higher high. So this here is the break of structure. That's the first step in an uptrend, because when we break our protected high, we go to an uptrend. So where is the zone drawn? From this high to this low. Okay, now we're looking for our 6 taps. So this is our first one, and 2. The zone is always your 1 and 2. And how do we know if this is a good zone? So this will be a good 6 taps. What do we need? We need price to come out of the zone, come back in, and push higher. We can play that out. Beautiful. Can you see here? We came out of the zone. This is our 3. This is our 4. This is our 5. What makes this a good zone? Because now we have our liquidity. And what do we notice? Underneath our liquidity, this zone is still very unmitigated. Okay, there's a lot of orders in here to push price up. So this is good. And what else do we have? We have this unmitigated area of demand. I can see here. Okay, this is an area of demand that we have just below our liquidity. Beautiful. Do we have anything underneath our zone in which we can tap into and rip up? No. So if we're going to continue higher, this will be the zone. So this is a high quality zone. So this is where somewhere I could put my entry underneath, stop loss slightly below, target higher highs, and I have higher quality because confidence because this is a higher quality zone. You can see we get that immediate reaction, and we create that higher high here. Boom, your TP is smashed because this was a good zone. Now let's get into this one here, which is the exact same but for a downtrend. Okay, let's look. Now we can see if we focus just on simple structure, low, high, lower low, lower high, lower low. We're making lower highs and lower lows, we're just going to expect the same. I'm never trying to catch the reversal. You can see we have a break of structure here to the downside, which gives me a zone from here to here. Now, is this zone a good zone? If I take a sell in here, anticipating lower prices, let's say we put our short position in here, stop loss above the zone and target lower prices. Let's see what happens. Get tagged in, and we get absolutely smoked. The main thing I'm looking at is this zone we had. What do we notice just above it? Right, look for the last break of structure above it. We have this zone here. What do we notice about this zone? It is completely unmitigated. And what does it also have? It has that liquidity, that first touch, that push price lower. And you can see this is entirely unmitigated, including this area of supply here. So this is a great zone. This is a terrible zone. Above this zone, we don't have a previous zone we can tap into and dump. Above this zone, we do. In this zone, we have a liquidity touch that push price lower. In this zone, we don't. We came into the zone. We never push lower. So if you're trading this zone, you're going to get stopped out. You have to understand this zone is just liquidity for this A+ zone, because it ticks all the criteria. It's unmitigated, is liquidity, is with the trend, it has a break of structure. So now while you're using this zone, you will become our liquidity. And if we look at the 6 taps, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is beautiful now. This is where I will use my entry, stop loss above, target a lower low. We play that out. You can see we get tagged in, and we're just expecting price now, this 6 tap, to deliver beautifully. And as you probably already know, it's going to smash TP. But yeah, I hope that helped. Simple stuff, really good, can increase your win rate significantly when you're choosing good zones over bad zones. If this video did help, I appreciate any likes, any subscribes. Any questions you have at all, feel free to drop in the comment section below. I do have a premium Discord where you can learn my entire trading strategy and watch me live stream my trading every single day, so you can really see what I'm doing and I can really give you that one-on-one support. The link is in the description below to join. Apart from that, appreciate your time as always, and I'll catch you in the next video.